Hello everybody! My name is T-Duck, and have you guys ever wondered about the lore behind Terraria? Wait, what? You already watched videos on Terraria's lore before? And you already know all of it? God damn it. But wait, I'm not like other girls. No, I mean like, I'm not like other creators. I'm going in depth, baby. I'm gonna go like, make a Dark Souls lore type video, you get what I mean? I'm trying to overcomplicate it, make it like more complicated, so it's more interesting. The information from this video is from the Terraria 8th anniversary lore event, and also the Terraria 2016 comic book. If I get anything wrong, feel free to subscribe, then give me constructive criticism. If you subscribe, I can confidently assure you there will be no nuclear bombs sent to your house. Anyways, let's get into the overcomplication of Terraria's story from start to finish. Before anything had existed, there are gods beyond our comprehension. These gods created the worlds of Terraria. That's right, a worlds with an S. The gods created a balance between everything to give fairness to all living creatures, no matter good or evil. In the process of creating this balance, the god tested the complexity of life. This led to the creation of multiple worlds. These worlds weren't just regular planets. They were living things with consciousness. The reason for its consciousness is to maintain the desired balance. The world has many mechanisms to maintain the balance. Mainly, it's the corruption, the crimson, and the hollow. Within each world lies a guardian who serves as the world's master and core. Once this creature is destroyed, the world will release the ancient spirits of light and dark. The world of Terraria itself consists of multiple biomes. The first one I'm gonna be talking about are the regular biomes. The regular biomes has a sole purpose of containing the world's creatures. These biomes consist of the forest, the snow biome, the desert, the jungle, the ocean, the underground, and the underworld. The next type of biomes are the evil biomes. This consists of the corruption and the crimson. The first of the two I'll be talking about is the corruption. The corruption is like a spreading cancer caused by the sins of the people. Every action taken, every word spoken, even your thought itself will influence the spread of the corruption if it was of evil intent. The corruption knows nothing else but to consume everything it touches, even living things such as human beings, leaving nothing behind but creatures of hate to inflict karma upon the living thing. The goal of the corruption is to turn the whole world into a desolate abyss, a void without life. Within the corruption exist shadow orbs. These orbs absorb an object of power and use that power to spread the corruption faster and more violently. Destroying 3 of these orbs summons the Eater of World, a sentient worm-like being with 50 sections who can actually talk for some random reason, and human servants, also known as slaves. Alright, side note guys, the Eater of Worlds can possibly be the spine of Cthulhu, as the Destroyer, a mechanical boss modeled to be a replacement for Cthulhu's spine, is modeled after the Eater of Worlds. Shiver me timbers, the corruption sounds very scary. But fear not, there's a counter to the corruption spread. Something known as the World Tree, the source of the ancient dryads, its power, can uncorrupt the corruption. Now, for the second evil biome, it's the Crimson. Unlike the corruption, the Crimson is most likely not from this world. The Crimson is a single living creature that spreads throughout multiple worlds as a hive mind. The Crimson has taken over multiple Terraria worlds, some of which has made the mistake of worshipping the Crimson to a level of a god, leading to it taking over the entirety of its existence. The Crimson has been known to consume the sacrifice given by his worshipper to further his power. Within the Crimson exist 3 Crimson Hearts. Destroying 3 of these hearts summons the Brain of Cthulhu. Okay, here's my personal take on it. Since the Brain of Cthulhu is the boss of the Crimson, there's a possibility where the Crimson is actually a disease from Cthulhu. So that's just a theory. That's just a theory. A game theory. The reason that the Corruption has so much more lore than the Crimson is because the 2016 Terraria comic book, which I assume is canon. Anyways, let's move on to the next type of biome. It's the good biome, which there's only one good biome in the game. It's the Hollow. The Hollow is of opposite nature from the Crimson and the Corruption. Within each world, there's a guardian, the one guarding the spirits of light and dark, limiting the spread of the Crimson and Corruption, and removing the Hollow from this world. This guardian is the center of each world. It is also known as the Wall of Flesh. Okay, side note number 2, I guess. The Wall of Flesh is speculated to be the guide by the community, but it's not confirmed. At least I don't think so. Once the Wall of Flesh is slain, the spirits of light and dark are unleashed, freeing the Hollow to spread its purity. The Hollow purpose is to spread purity, a force of quote-unquote good. It takes the task of spreading purity to the extreme. It will try to kill anything that would attempt to violate the balance of life, no matter which side they are on, friend or foe. If the Hollow deems you as a threat, it will try to murk you off the planet. This can be shown by when you kill a prismatic lacewing. It summons the Empress of Light as it deems you as a threat, but because you kill cool critters, like beautiful stuff. I would like to welcome you to the amazing world of Terraria. A land full of mystery and wonder, with much of its destiny left up to the wildest of imagination. However, a few legends of old has made their way to our present time, passed down by the countless generation of the Order of the Gods. These few scraps of information will serve to help you navigate your journey and overcome threats lurking in the shadows. This knowledge is now passed on to brave adventurers who want to save each world. Our story begins with Cthulhu, a creature of immense power and unknown origin. Cthulhu has arrived long ago to rain destruction toward the Terraria worlds. The life of each world began to fight back against Cthulhu, starting the Great Cthulhu War. Unfortunately, no one could stand up to the immeasurable power of this eldritch god. The fabric of reality itself seems to be ripping. When all hope seems lost, the ancient creatures known as Dryads appeared to battle against Cthulhu. The Dryads hold a deep connection with the world of Terraria itself. However, they weren't able to kill Cthulhu. But with the power of friendship and uniting all of living things on Terraria, they are able to disassemble the pieces of Cthulhu, such as its eye, its skeleton, brain. Cthulhu was defeated, retreating to the dark side of the moon. Unfortunately, even though the Dryads succeeded in defending the world of Terraria, they all perished except for one, the one that appears to aid you in your journey. And here's a little fun fact, the Dryad in your game, the Dryad NPC, she's 900 years old. Enough time has passed for the Great Cthulhu War to become just a legend. But there were a lunatic cult who seeks to bring Cthulhu to its former power. They kidnap a genius known as the Mechanic. She has been forced to work on rebuilding the missing parts of Cthulhu, including the spine, the eyes, and the skeleton. She almost completed her work, only missing the brain. Passers-by would hear screams coming from the dungeon, a demonic fortress of the dead where the Mechanic is held captive. We can safely assume that the screams they hear were the screams of the Mechanic. Many across Terraria has fallen under the control of the cult, including a benevolent old man who oversees the dungeon. The dungeon was once a great underground city full of life before being cursed, forcing all its people to go mad, becoming undeads who rotted away, becoming skeletons. a servant of evil. The curse that was placed on them was by Skeletron, the skeleton of Cthulhu. After you have heard the lore and the backstory of Terraria, it's time for you to know about what happens in the game of Terraria, or the story of Terraria. I messed it up. Or your story, the story of me and you, the main character of Terraria. Yes, we're him. Anyways, then comes the Terrarian, a random human who encounters the guide. The guide passes on information to the Terrarian, and then the Terrarian used that information to achieve his goal of defeating Cthulhu and rebuilding the society of Terraria. You probably know what happens in this part. Well, the Terrarian builds a house, then goes mining, before coming back to defeat his first enemy, the Slime King, or maybe the Eye of Cthulhu. After defeating the Eye of Cthulhu, his first real enemy that actually matters, he proceeds to enter the evil biomes, the Crimson or the Corruption, and then defeat the Brain of Cthulhu or the Eater of Worlds, forging new armor from its remains. The Terrarian then proceeds to go to the dungeon, freeing the old man from his curse by defeating Skeletron, the skeleton of Cthulhu. Then he ventures into the dungeon, looting it, then proceeds to go to Hell, sacrifice his best friend and good old friend, the guide, to summon the Guardian of Light and Dark, the Wall of Fresh, releasing the spirits of Light and Dark, letting the Corruption and Crimson and Hollow to spread. The Terrarian then proceeds to kill 3 mechanical parts of Cthulhu, the Mechanical Twin, the Destroyer, and Skeleton Prime. He proceeds to kill Plantera to get to the temple, and then use the temple key to enter the temple, and then kill Golem. Coming back from the jungle, he finds the lunatic cultists trying to summon Cthulhu. You murdered all the cultists, but it's too late. The army of Cthulhu is here. But somehow you managed to kill them all with either like yourself or with 7 more people. That's still impressive. Anyhow, now that you defeated his army, also known as the Pillars, Cthulhu finally arrives, but this time he's not the same. He is now the Moon Lord. And then you murder him in cold blood, harvesting him for his metal and swords. And then you go to cleanse the world of evil biome, building towns and city around the world for people to live in. But you actually did it for the pylons. But we don't talk about that. You also fulfilled the most important part, saving the turtles. Guys, climate change is not a joke. After you finish the game, each of your NPC has their own journey to go on, or their little stories. You can see this from the cutscene after you defeat the Lord. So here's what happens in the cutscenes. We can see the guy is running from a zombie he led into his house. The merchant and traveling merchant is coming to an agreement on the trade of an angel statue and the dirt block. The demolitionist and arms dealer is arguing between guns and bombs before the nurse takes them both for a drink. The goblin tinkerer and the mechanic is flirting. The tavern's keeper is saying goodbye to the dryad before re-entering the old one's army portal to go back to his original game he came from. The wizard, painter, dye trader, party girl, and 2 bunnies is going to eat a cake during a party. The truffle is yapping something as the clothier chuckles while following him. The angler and the pirate is near a campfire flexing their stuff. Eventually, the angler shows the pirate a truffle worm and he sets off. The pirate soon follows after trying to unsuccessfully warn him of the dangers presented while using it as bait. The golfer, a cured zoologist, and the town's pets are following a golf ball. The skeleton merchant is finding a slapped hand in a pile of bones. The dryad becomes the wise mystical tree with a bunny resting at her feet. The steampunker modifying or repairing the cyborg before being shocked. The Santa is bribing the tax collector so he doesn't need to pay his taxes. The witch doctor meeting up with her old friends. Finally, all the NPCs and the player character is celebrating in a pavilion and then yelling, "Together, we are Terraria!"
Test. I think I'm finished now. Yo, dude, is that a gun? If you shoot me, my mind will be blown.